This is WTVM News Leader 9.
Several shootings in a matter of days in the Fountain City. Tonight on the news at 5, we take a look at 2 shootings that left 2 men injured and another suspect on the run.
And a cold case murder finally goes to trial. Straight ahead, we take a look at the next step to possibly bring those responsible to justice.
Plus tonight, the Ebola virus weighing heavily on many Americans' minds, especially now that it's just 100 miles away from us. Find out 5 things you need to know about the deadly virus. Good Monday evening. Thanks for joining us on the news at 5. I'm Jason Dennis.
So glad you're with us. I'm Barbara Gauthier. Our top story tonight, new information involving 2 weekend shootings in Columbus. The victim's condition in the drive-by shooting on Dogwood Avenue is now critical, according to hospital officials, and a warrant is issued in another shooting in East Columbus. News 9's Rosalind Giles has the very latest.
A 22-year-old Columbus man is now fighting for his life after being shot in the neck. It happened around 3 Sunday afternoon as he walked along Dogwood Avenue near Rigdon Road. Neighbor Joe Foster called 911.
Applied pressures to his neck and to the area where he received a wound until 911 came.
Foster, a longtime advocate for teens and young adults in the community, showed me where the victim was laying when the bullet hit him.
One of the neighbors tried to put him in the vehicle, and we soon took him back out of the vehicle and laid him where he could be stabilized.
As for the suspect, police say they know who they're looking for in terms of a description, but the person was seen leaving in a red 4-door car.
Investigators say the suspect is black and is about 20 to 25 years old, weighs 170 pounds, and stands about 6 feet tall. He also has shoulder-length dreadlocks. Shots also rang out on West Park Drive in East Columbus around the same time Sunday afternoon as the Dogwood Avenue shooting. Police have released a warrant for 23-year-old Artez Coppins. He is accused of firing a gun into his neighbor's house following an argument. The bullet grazed the man's shoulder. No word on what that argument was about.
Now, a motive for the shooting is still unclear. If you have any information about the crime, you're asked to call Columbus detectives at 706-653-3400. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Rosalind. It's been a long process picking just the right jury to decide the fate of 4 suspects accused of murder, including a mother and son. News Leader 9's Brittany Dion just returned from the Columbus Government Center. So, Brittany, what can you tell us about the first day of this trial?
Jury selection is underway. It's still in progress. There are about 60 people who are being questioned right now in that cold case murder trial. Now, 3 suspects, including a mother and her son, are on trial for the death of 20-year-old David Coleman. Coleman was shot and killed inside his apartment on Lawyers Lane in Columbus back in 2008. The defendants, Daphne Castile, her son Jamal Castile, and Dantrell Marshall are accused of having Coleman killed, fearing he would tip off police about their involvement in that bank robbery. Now, a 4th suspect, Terrell Morris, has made a deal with the prosecution. He is expected to testify against the trio in this trial. Coming up on the news at 6, I'll take you inside jury selection. Back to you, Barbara.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much. The retrial of a man convicted of murder resumed today in Russell County. Prosecutors rested their case on Friday in the capital murder trial of James Harrison Jr. He was convicted of the 1998 murder of Fred Day Jr. of Phoenix City. So far today, the state has said Harrison's testimony didn't match up with the evidence taken from the fatal stabbing. Harrison is expected to testify at some point today. We have a reporter in that courtroom. We'll have more on the trial coming up on News Leader 9 at 5:30.
Oh, weather today feeling more like August out there for sure. Temperatures back in the 90s, 92 in Columbus and Auburn, 93 in Montgomery, 85 down in Dothan, and 88 in Albany. They've dealt with some thicker clouds down to the south, but overall a pretty good looking day out there today. Heavier showers and storms off the east coast, but around here the rain very hard to find. Showers very widely spaced around here today, and we should see a similar forecast as we go through the day on Tuesday. So here's your forecast for the evening. We're going to stay warm, a lot of sunshine out there at times, and as we head through the nighttime hours tonight, a partly cloudy sky, and we'll be talking a lot more about what to expect as we get you ready for the rest of the week. I know it's back to school for a lot of the kids. We'll have more on that forecast for you coming up.
All right, thank you, Derek. There's some good news tonight about the American doctor flown from Africa to Atlanta over the weekend to be treated for the potentially deadly Ebola virus. Dr. Kent Brantley is said to be improving, and it may be thanks in part to a possible miracle drug. Another American who caught Ebola while working with him also got that drug, and she will soon be recuperating in the same Georgia hospital. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports from Atlanta.
A second American Ebola patient heading home to the U.S. Nancy Wright-Bowl getting on this medical evacuation plane in Liberia, traveling to Emory University Hospital in Atlanta for treatment.
You're still fighting, still weak, but able to sit up and receive treatment and even eat a little bit and take in fluid.
Today we're learning more about an experimental serum that she and her colleague Dr. Kent Brantley were reportedly given in Liberia. It was manufactured by a biopharmaceutical company in San Diego, never tested on humans, but in a desperate effort to save their lives, sources tell us they took it and it worked within minutes, leading to a dramatic improvement in Brantley's health, leaving him strong enough to walk out of this ambulance and into the hospital this weekend.
Hearing that he recovered and he's doing better is terrific news.
But experts stress there is no proven cure for Ebola. Doctors deciding both Americans have a better chance at survival if their symptoms are treated here in the U.S. rather than West Africa, where the outbreak is still surging out of control. Experts saying they're confident, though, the disease will not spread here.
They know what they're doing. It's safe. People should be at ease about it.
And now Wright-Bowl is afternoon. Like Brantley, she will be treated in a specially isolated room away from other patients. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Atlanta.
And many people are worried about the Ebola infection spreading in America. Here are some things you need to know about the virus. 5 things, in fact. It is now the largest outbreak in history in 3 West African countries. There are more than 1,300 cases and nearly 730 people who have died from it since March. The current death rate of Ebola is about 60%. Symptoms include fever, headache, muscle aches, and sore throat. And it is not airborne, so you would have to come into contact with an infected person's blood or bodily fluids. Government officials have stepped up efforts to isolate patients, educate the public, and check travelers and tighten borders to prevent the disease's spread.
A U.S. district judge has ruled that Alabama state lawmakers exceeded their authority in regards to the state's abortion law. News Leader 9's Elizabeth White has more on Governor Robert Bentley's reaction and what this means for the state's 5 abortion clinics. Elizabeth? And we don't have her right now, but we do know that Governor Robert Bentley says abortion is a fundamental assault on the sanctity of innocent life. And the governor is extremely disappointed. Federal Judge Myron Thompson ruled the Alabama law is unconstitutional because it would unduly hamper a woman's ability to obtain the medical procedure. Alabama's governor says abortion should only be done in a last possible effort to save the life of the mother. As a doctor, he says she is a firm believer medical procedures, including abortion, should be done in the safest manner possible. Governor Bentley says he supports an appeal.
We were thrilled. We were thrilled that he's held it to be unconstitutional, the admitting privileges aspect of the law to be unconstitutional. We are delighted that the women of Alabama are going to have access to safe and legal abortions.
Watson goes on to say the law was not about patient safety, but an effort to shut down clinics. Clinics in Birmingham and Mobile run by Planned Parenthood filed the lawsuit saying they would have to close because they use out-of-town doctors without admitting privileges. The clinics say they have been unable to get local doctors with privileges to serve their clinics. The state's 2 other clinics in Tuscaloosa and Huntsville use local doctors with admitting privileges. The law's sponsor, Republican Representative McClurkin of Indian Springs, said the measure would make the clinics safer. And Thompson extended an earlier order blocking enforcement of the law, saying he would issue a final order after considering more written arguments from attorneys.
Other news tonight, a Lafayette teen has died in what appears to be an accidental drowning at an Opelika motel. Opelika police say the 18-year-old drowned in the Travel Lodge pool where he was a guest around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Police say he was swimming with others in the pool and began having trouble for an unknown reason. Foul play is not suspected. The teen's body has been sent for an autopsy. His name has not been released until his family can be notified.
A well-known Columbus defense attorney has passed away. The Muskogee County coroner confirms to News Leader 9 that Dill Mason died Saturday from liver cancer. Mason was being cared for by Columbus Hospice. We're told his body was handed over to the Neptune National Society in Atlanta for cremation. So far, no details on the memorial service.
Well, coming up, first day of class just days away now. Next up, we'll let you know about what can be the most dangerous part of the first day and how you can be prepared.
And Georgia Governor Nathan Deal optimistic about a new report showing a 25-year low on the number of African-American inmates. Hear what he has to say about what's being done to keep those numbers down.
And congratulations to James Cullifer of Catala, Georgia, for winning our WTVM and Rivertown Ford Umbrella today. We'll have 2 more winners for you coming up this week. And to register, just head over to the weather tab at WTVM.com. We'll be talking a lot more about what to expect for this week's weather and if you'll need the umbrella coming up.